What is going on, guys? My name is Brandinho and welcome back to the channel, the first video of 2024. And I thought to go back to my old ways a little bit, and I want to start the video with a nice little VR video. So we have obviously done the entire Titanic series, we have done the sinking of the Titanic, and now we're going to do a virtual tour of the entire Titanic. See what it's like, seeing the whole grand staircase in its rightful form, the captain's cabin or whatever, to see everything in virtual reality. Let's just see what the experience is like from the virtual tour. So yeah, let's have a look. So I'm guessing this is also going to be a sitting down experience as well. Oh no, it's actual this tour. I swear I've seen the actual walking tour. Feels good. We're going back into this. There it is, coming up, Titanic. So this is where the series started. This is where it all started. So I'm actually going in shipwreck then. I thought I was going to get the other tour. Like actually going where it's not the wreck, the actual ship. So I saw it before, I swear. There it is.
At 46,328 tons, she was the largest ship built at the time, being only slightly bigger than Olympic.
This is nice.
Everything on RMS Titanic was massive. This centre anchor was at the time the largest anchor forged by hand and weighed in at over 15 tons. The centre anchor and the two bower anchors were made by Noah Hingley and Sons in their workshop in Dudley, England. The anchors were transported to Belfast by horse, train and ship before being installed. It took 3 years to construct Titanic, but by the 2nd of April 2012, Titanic was completed and taken out to the Irish Sea for her trials. She was certified as seaworthy by the British Board of Trade and ready for her maiden voyage. She would be servicing the transatlantic route, a journey from Southampton, England to New York, USA, with stops at Cherbourg, France and Queenstown, Ireland. RMS Titanic carried mail and cargo as well as passengers. She had 6 cargo hatches.
Oh, going down to the inner part of it.
4, 5 and 6 aft. On her left is the number 1 hatch.
Yep.
The access point for the forwardmost cargo hold. The hatch cover can be found.
I went down there, and then I'm going down there. Feels like I'm just going back through memory lane. Again, it's going to be another easiest video I've ever done.
On the afternoon of Wednesday, the 10th of April, RMS Titanic began her 5,360 kilometres journey to New York City. She was due to arrive in the early hours of Wednesday, the 17th of April, but with calm
So cool. It is so cool.
It was possible she could arrive early on Tuesday evening instead. The night of the 14th of April was moonless, and a light fog was developing on the horizon. Titanic's captain, Edward Smith, had received a number of ice warnings during the day and had changed their course so they were further south to avoid the affected areas. The captain retired to bed, and First Officer William Murdoch took charge of the bridge as officer of the watch. Titanic steamed ahead through the night, while lookouts Frederick Fleet and Reginald Lee searched the horizon for small ice. They were standing here, in the crow's nest.
Wow.
At 11:40 p.m, Fleet spotted an iceberg directly ahead.
Iceberg dead ahead.
He rang the warning bell 3 times to indicate an obstacle ahead and phoned the bridge. Murdoch gave the order, hard a starboard. The ship turned to port, but it was too late. Titanic struck the iceberg on her starboard side. The impact buckled hull plates and sheared rivets, revealing her 6 compartments to the ocean. You can see here the remains of the crow's nest platform.
I can.
For the bell above the access hole. The bell and telephone can be found lying in the debris field. The lookouts would climb up a ladder on the inside of this mast to reach the crow's nest. Both Lee and Fleet didn't believe Titanic had struck the iceberg hard and thought it was just a close shave. They didn't realise the seriousness of the situation until they arrived on the boat deck and were ordered into lifeboats.
Oh, hello. Oh, what's going to happen here? Am I going in that? I am, yeah.
We are now heading down the number 2 hatch to reach the main
Here we go.
hold and mail room. We're passing by decks D, E, F and G, which house
That's where I was, yeah.
open space and cabins for third
God,
class
I remember how
single
creepy this felt, you know.
Third class single
I actually forgot how creepy it felt.
in the stern.
Like, is this not scary or not?
A large sheltered area with bench seats, small tables, and a bar.
Oh, it's such a flashback this is.
Use this space
This
to
is such a
walk,
flashback.
and to listen to music. They were expected to create their own entertainment, and some passengers brought their instruments with them on the journey. The third-class passengers held a dance party here on the night of the sinking. The crew staying in this section were mostly firemen, trimmers, and greasers.
This makes me just want to watch
These
Titanic
crewmen
again.
worked in the hot and dirty boiler and engine rooms, shoveling coal and greasing machinery. Because of this, they had their own special wash areas and slept in rooms away from passengers. They accessed their work areas through a passageway under the cargo hold below. Titanic contained 15 bulkheads, thick walls that separate her lower decks into 16 watertight compartments. It was a new design technique that meant Titanic could stay afloat with up to 4 of her compartments damaged and led to her being considered unsinkable. Unfortunately, the collision with the iceberg opened 6 compartments.
6
In
compartments.
the first 15 minutes, this cargo hold was underwater and the third-class accommodation on G deck above was starting to fill with water.
That's a big L though, like all those exotic cars and everything. That's a big L.
Businesses being transported across the Atlantic.
You know what I mean? All those businesses,
Among
man.
the crates of fabrics, furniture and food products, there were also a few unusual items, including orchids, dragon's blood, barrels of mercury, and a brand new Renault automobile. Some of the more expensive items being carried included Egyptian artifacts heading for the Denver Museum, the Rubaiyat of Omar Khayyam, and the Le Circassiano Ben painting by Blondel. These items were most likely held in the first-class baggage area next door, but were lost along with the mailroom when that section...
Is that fish guiding us now?
20 minutes after the collision.
Mind your head.
We're now going to head through to the mailroom on the other side of this bulkhead.
Where's that? Is that here? I assume here. Why are we getting guided by the fish here?
Royal Mail steamer and contracted to transport mail across the Atlantic. RMS liners were favourable with passengers as they were considered more reliable to arrive at their destination on time. Titanic had a mailroom and post office on board, with 5 dedicated post office workers. This team consisted of 2 British and
Just gonna tie
3
myself up a little bit.
American clerks, and together they
Yeah.
sorted up to 60,000 letters per day. John Jago Smith and James Williamson were from the British Royal Mail, and William Gwynn, John March and Oscar Woody were from the US Postal Service. They worked in both this room and the sorting room upstairs, and their sleeping quarters can be
I
found
remember this.
on F deck. There were roughly
Are we
200 bags of registered
I don't remember
mail,
this.
3,500
Did I go here last time?
on board, meaning a total of roughly 7 million pieces of
Whoa.
mail, 700
I don't remember
were
this.
lost in the sinking.
This is new. I don't remember
Further
this.
damage ran directly across the starboard
Whoa.
of this room, leading to this space flooding early in the night. The 5 clerks worked tirelessly to try and save the mail, and managed to carry 200 mail bags up these stairs to the sorting room. Only a few minutes later, the water had reached this level, and they moved what they could to D deck.
D deck. I've been D deck. I remember this.
Sadly,
I don't remember going up the stairs though.
died in the sinking.
Well, what's down there? Whoa. D deck. Damn, what? Big L here, yeah. Look at it. What a mess. Oh, where are we now? Oh. Okay. Is that it, or is there more? I assume there's more. That can't be it. That definitely cannot be it.
As the iceberg slid down the side of the ship, Murdoch ordered a hard aport, swinging Titanic stern out of the
I feel like there was so many I missed from the series. So many areas I missed.
Doors isolating the flooding to those damaged compartments. The forward 3 hatches, along with the peak tank and boiler rooms 5 and 6, were breached. The openings were long and thin, where the iron plating had separated and exposed a total area of little over 1 metre squared. After the collision, RMS Titanic stopped and almost immediately took a starboard list. The captain organised a group to go below and inspect the ship for damage. When they returned, Chief Designer Thomas Andrews was summoned to the bridge and given the damage report. Knowing the volume of each breached compartment and the initial rate of flooding, he calculated Titanic would sink within 60 to 90 minutes.
Damn.
The captain gave the order for the lifeboats to be prepared. Passengers who were woken by the impact were starting to make their way onto the decks. Many found large chunks of ice here on the forward well deck, and shaved ice falling through open portholes on C deck. Third-class men had an impromptu football match and first-class passengers joked about keeping pieces of ice as souvenirs for the journey. While exciting, passengers didn't believe they were in any danger, and most returned to their cabins soon after. We're now moving up to the bridge, and then over to the Marconi radio.
Okay.
RMS Titanic was not only luxurious, but also the height of technology at the time. She had a Marconi radio set on board and could send messages to other ships and stations up to 3,200 kilometres away. The fore and aft masts suspended the Marconi twin T-type aerials, 4 cables that transmitted the radio signals across the ocean. The top of this mast rests on the collapsed navigation bridge, where the officer of the watch would stand and direct the ship. The smaller, sheltered room at the back was called the wheelhouse, and it was here the quartermaster stood at the helm and piloted the ship.
Damn.
You can see the outline of the wheelhouse walls on the floor.
Can, yeah.
This telemotor is all that is left of the wheel, and along with the commemorative plaques, serves as a stark reminder.
I remember doing that. Remember that?
Titanic carried just 20 lifeboats, 4 more than
Yep.
required by the regulations
Remember that?
outlined by the
Remember a lot of the information.
There were 14 regular wooden lifeboats, 2 smaller cutters and 4 Engelhard collapsible boats. The total capacity of these lifeboats was only 1,178 people, far less than the total on board. This fact must have weighed heavily on the captain's mind as he specified the boats to be filled with women and children first. Many passengers refused to board lifeboats, believing they would be safer on board Titanic. Just over an hour after the collision, the first lifeboat left the sinking ship. By 2 a.m, only her 4 collapsible lifeboats remained unlaunched. This is davit number 1, the only davit remaining in a standing position on the wreck. It was used by First Officer Murdoch to lower lifeboat 1 and collapsible C, and was in the process of lowering collapsible A when the bridge suddenly ducked under the water at 2:15 a.m. The officers, crew and passengers alike were washed from the decks by the resulting wave, and the lifeboat floated away upright and empty.
Where we're heading to now? Just like the captain's cabin or something. Oh, where are we?
This hole is where the forwardmost funnel was situated.
Oh, the funnel.
Dipped under the surface, the funnel fell forward and crushed the starboard bridgeway and the people swimming in the water nearby. The stern rose out of the water, peaking at an angle of around 15 degrees. This placed stress on Titanic's keel, which buckled and twisted, tearing the ship in half and sending the waterlogged bow plummeting to the ocean floor. The tear wasn't clean, with the decks failing to hold at varying positions. The stern, now rapidly filling with water, bobbed on the surface for a few minutes before slipping under.
It's a long ass
Lifeboats
tour.
had rowed far away from the ship for fear of being pulled under by the suction as Titanic sank. They were now left to decide whether they remain safe in their boat or try to rescue some of the 1,500 people floating in the freezing water. If they returned to the wreckage, they risked being capsized by panicked swimmers trying to climb into their lifeboat. It was a hard decision, and many decided the risk was too great. Only 3 boats pulled people from the ocean that night. Most people in the water succumbed to hypothermia within 15 to 20 minutes, their life belts keeping them afloat. A few managed to make their way to the unlaunched collapsibles A and B and pulled themselves aboard. Here they waited, in the dark, not knowing how long they would be floating on the open sea. The opening ahead of us is the Marconi room skylight. We're now going to descend into the room to learn about the rescue.
Okay then.
Throughout the night, senior operator Jack Phillips worked the 5 kilowatt Marconi wireless radio, set to send out distress signals using both the old CQD and new SOS call codes. He alerted nearby ships to their position and status and received updates of ship locations and estimated arrival times. Junior operator Harold Bride took these updates to Captain Smith and passed the captain's responses back to Phillips for transmission. RMS Carpathia radio operator Harold Cotton was off duty and about to go to bed when he decided to listen.
I don't remember this room either.
From Cape Cod.
I thought that was a lot of movies I missed on the Titanic.
They had ice warnings for Titanic, and Cotton decided to pass on the message. He was surprised when Phillips responded to his call with a CQD and gave Titanic's location. Cotton immediately took the message to Carpathia's captain, Arthur Rostrom, who ordered all hands on deck and told Cotton to let Titanic know they were on their way. These calls for assistance were only possible with the help of the Titanic's engineers working down in the ship's engine room. The dynamos powered the ship's lights, water pumps and Marconi equipment. As Titanic took on more water, her engines began to fail and the signal strength weakened. Bride adjusted the current and motor speed to find the strongest spark, while Phillips tested the equipment in the room next door. Bride's final settings can be seen on the wall here.
Cool, cool.
When water reached the boat deck, the operators left their station, with Bride heading towards the port bow and Phillips to the starboard stern. After the wave washed over the decks, Bride found himself in the water underneath collapsible B and managed to climb aboard. Phillips was lost in the sinking. RMS Titanic was carrying an estimated 2,208 passengers and crew, with only 712 surviving the disaster. Those who survived spent the night floating in darkness until RMS Carpathia arrived around 4 a.m.
To the Grand Staircase.
Pushed the Cunard liner to break her speed record, but it wasn't enough. Titanic had sunk before Carpathia arrived, and they found 20 lifeboats at Titanic's location. Unfortunately, the exact number of victims is unknown, as there were many last-minute ticket purchases and cancellations, and the documentation was lost along with the ship. Of the 1,317 known passengers, over half were travelling third class, or steerage as it was called. These passengers couldn't access the boat deck without entering second class or crew areas, meaning many were unaware how to get to the lifeboats and escape the sinking. Passengers from different classes were strictly separated and not allowed to visit each other's areas. This was mainly for health and immigration reasons, as all third-class passengers emigrating to the United States were taken to Ellis Island for a health check and processing before being allowed to enter the mainland. The US government was concerned about diseases entering the country, and all ships transporting people to the United States had to adhere to the segregation laws. First and second class passengers had no issues making their way to the boat deck, as staircases provided both classes direct access. This forward grand staircase is one of the most iconic spaces within the ship, and linked the floors accessible to first class from the boat deck through to F deck. Each deck contained stylized cabins, common spaces, and state-of-the-art facilities.
Okay. Yeah, it's like a memorable scene for me. The basically where the Grand Staircase and that was literally like right at the bottom, right down there. It's a very memorable spot for me.
A deck comprised of the first class lounge, promenade, reading room and smoking room. The first class smoking room contained the only functional fireplace on the ship. All cabins and other passenger areas of the ship contained either false fireplaces or electric heaters. B deck included the 2 millionaire suites, the largest suites on the ship, both with private promenades. This deck also included the a la carte restaurant and Café Parisien, both managed by restaurateur Luigi Gatti. This restaurant and cafe were not included in the travelling fare like the dining saloon, and tables needed to be booked ahead of time.
I spent most of my time down there, yeah.
C deck was known as
Remember that chandelier?
and contained first class accommodation along with the
Yeah, I was here that. I did hear a lot of the series.
and purser's office. It was the highest deck to run the length of the ship uninterrupted. There were 135 first class cabins and 2
It's kind of relaxing. I don't have to do anything.
able to accommodate up to 315 passengers. Like all other decks on Titanic, there were no room number 13. B deck also contained the second class library and third class general and smoking rooms. These were situated in the stern section, currently located 600 metres south of the bow. There were 2 purser's offices on board, one for first class and one for second class. The offices were run by 6 pursers who handled passenger inquiries, cash and valuables in the safe, and issued tickets to the Turkish baths and swimming pool on F deck. First and second class passengers needed to register their arrival at their respective purser's office, and they were given maps of the ship. This office was also the first point of call if first class passengers wished to send telegraph messages using the new wireless technology on board. Chief Purser Hugh McElroy was well known among the first class passengers and crew, having served on White Star liners for 13 years. He often dined alongside passengers in the restaurant. During the cross-channel journey, McElroy kept a canary in his cabin, minding it during its delivery to a friend in Cherbourg. On the night of the accident, he was seen assisting with loading and lowering Lifeboat 9. He helped women enter the boat and spoke with owner Bruce Ismay. He was also seen on deck speaking with Assistant Purser Reginald Barker and Surgeons William O'Loughlin and John Simpson. The friends were standing silently watching the last boats being lowered and spoke briefly with Officer Lightoller before shaking hands and saying their goodbyes.
Did I come here last time? I think I did. I'm pretty sure I did, yeah.
The sitting room, one of the most recognisable on board Titanic, was part of a parlour suite occupied by the Strausses. It was decorated in the Regency style with mahogany furniture and gilt panels. It was the only room on board in this style, and you can still see the golden clock sitting on the mantelpiece, surrounded by debris.
I remember this, no.
The bedroom next door also contained mahogany furniture, this time contrasting with the white gilt panelling and decorated in the Empire style.
Oh, was that it? Oh. Oh, it just ends like that? Oh, really? Oh. That was weird. That was a weird way to end it. I thought I was going to get... I was expecting that to be, like, taken outside shit, but then, like... You know, ended like that, but he just ended like that. Oh. Damn. Oh. Well. Okay, then. So, yeah, it's definitely, it's just that one which I've already done. Unless there was... I believe there was one, but maybe it's just not there anymore. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe I was imagining it. I don't know. I don't know. But, yeah, now we have basically done every single part of this game. We've done the main game. We've done that, the sinking experience. And now we've done the wreck tour, which... was basically that, but just like not doing anything basically, which means this game is basically everything I've done like to it is 100% done. There's nothing left to do on it. So unless you guys want me to see me like play another like Titanic type game, because I know like you really enjoyed it and I got a lot of feedback from it. So yeah, unless you guys want to find anything else for me to do Titanic, and yeah, just let me know in the comments below. But yeah, that was the Titanic experience, direct edition. Yes, again, it's like another easy video for me really, just literally just sitting back and just enjoying myself basically. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, then make sure you give it a like and subscribe if you are new around here. Make sure your notification bell is on. I will see you guys in the next one. Take care. Goodbye.